I would now like to ask Alexandra Hillcoat to give the valedictory address.
Chancellor Wiener, President and Vice Chancellor Carr, Lady Gillings, distinguished guests and participants, fellow students, families, and friends. It is my absolute honor to address you today on behalf of the graduating students. Je suis très honorée de m'adresser à vous aujourd'hui au nom des diplômés. In my second ever class at Concordia, a student asked our professor a question. This in itself is not particularly remarkable. As you might imagine, it happens quite often. However, I bring up this one specific time because I vividly recall my absolute panic as I thought, oh no, I am way out of my league. At this point, I'm willing to admit that I might have been jumping to conclusions. That was hardly the last time I experienced imposter syndrome, that unjustified feeling of inadequacy in facing our circumstances. It is, after all, many students' constant companion, in addition to coffee and sleep deprivation, rearing its unwelcome head when we doubt our ability to measure up to others or succeed in any given situation. It is very fortunate, then, that as Concordia students, we have been surrounded by people who not only support us in facing down this endeavor, but also help us to push past it. We've had supervisors and TAs to remind us that even when we are unsure, we're headed in the right direction so long as we continue to ask questions. After all, there would be no room for growth if we already knew all the answers. When we were overwhelmed or burned out, our professors were there to share their enthusiasm for their disciplines and remind us that we're not just here to obtain our degrees, but also to seek out and pursue our passions. Such a community is critical to remaining dedicated to our goals in the face of ambiguity. It is a wonder, then, that we did not all collapse when the pandemic disrupted our lives and forced us to quarantine in our homes. In fact, I would say that the most impressive characteristic of a graduating class is that despite completing large portions of our degrees during COVID, we're not defined by it. When confronted with isolation and instability, we found new creative ways to maintain our community, to support one another, to foster academic discourse and our enthusiasm for learning. In other words, in the most unusual, unfamiliar, and unprecedented of circumstances, we still managed to accomplish the most ordinary miracle of all. We graduated university. So I have no doubts about whether we are ready to face the quote-unquote real world that awaits us on the other side of our degrees. As we move on to these next chapters of our lives, I would challenge my fellow graduates to maintain their steadfast pursuit of their goals in the face of uncertainty. Solving challenges requires people who are willing to push past what has previously been established, and in that, we have received the best training that there is. Merci à toutes et à tous, et félicitations. Thank you, and congratulations.
Alexandra, thank you for your encouraging and illuminating remarks. We wish you well and thank you.